How do you decide on things like past or present tense, first person or third person, whose point of view to write from? Um, okay, so Orson Scott Card, who wrote Ender's Game, an old but foundational piece of science fiction writing, um, I believe it was him who first talked about the pane of glass. Might have been H.G. Wells. Doesn't matter. Some old white writer who I can't remember their name of said that the writing, the first person, third person, the tense, all that sort of stuff, is a pane of glass or a stained glass window. It's basically tinting the story through which you view it. And someone like Margaret Atwood, most of the time, is doing their best to make the pane of glass as transparent as possible. You don't want any of the writer's voice to come through in the way that you're portraying the scene. You want to be as, not quite mechanical, but as non-specific as possible, so that if you pick up a book that you've written or a book that Jane Austen has written, both of those would have the same description of houses and the same description of people and all that sort of stuff. Whereas a lot of writers will attempt to tint the glass with their particular view. Terry Pratchett is my favorite here. Anytime you pick up a Terry Pratchett book, no matter whether it was speculative fiction, science fiction, he did write some, or fantasy, you are never have any doubt, you're never in any doubt whatsoever that this was Terry Pratchett writing it, that his voice comes through in every sentence, in every footnote, in every chapter. And again, there's no wrong way of doing that. Very, very quickly, first person is gaining a lot of traction with younger audiences. YA tends to be primarily first person, and that is, I did this thing, I went to the store, I slayed the dragon, all that kind of stuff. And then third person, limited is the big one for most adult audiences these days. Sarah went to the store, Sarah slayed the dragon, or whatever. Third person limited means that the narrator is kind of in the head of the character that they're talking through. So when I said Sarah went to the store, I wouldn't mention about the murderer lurking in Sarah's closet that she doesn't know about. That would be third person unlimited. It was very popular a long time ago. The big one is Dune, Frank Herbert. That was the third person omniscient. Third person limited is more natural for most stories. And second person is, you did this thing, you went to the store, you slayed the dragon. Don't bother. Second person is definitely not worth it for anybody except for like PhD art students who are trying to prove something to their grant application professors. Yeah, skip it. Hope that helps.